Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar, we're going to be talking about the chapter web pages and what you can do with them, how you can edit them, how you can update them, how you can really kind of customize them and make them your own. Before we get started with today's presentation, just a couple of little housekeeping things. Firstly, this is a live webinar, so if you have any questions as we're going through the material today, please feel free to ask those questions as we're going along. The easiest way to do that is to type your questions into the question panel here in the GoToWebinar software, and I'll be able to see those pop up on my screen and answer them as we're going through the material today. If it's something that's completely and totally unrelated, then we will still have plenty of time at the end of the webinar to answer those questions. We're scheduled for about 30 minutes or so. It takes about 25-30 minutes to go through this material today. That said, I am always happy to stay on these calls until every single question has been answered. We'll also be recording this webinar, so if you'd like to refer back to it later, or if you'd like to share it with somebody else that you'd like, that you think might be interested in it, you're welcome to do so. You'll find them in two places on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. That's youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, and also on our support site, support.bniconnect.com, or by clicking the question mark here in the BNI Connect program. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And as I said, we're talking about chapter websites today. And BNI Connect is a multi-tiered system. There's the logged in portion, which you're looking at right now. That's what's accessible only to members. So you have to be a member in order to be able to log into BNI Connect. However, there's a public-facing portion of it as well that draws the information from BNI Connect. And BNI Connect has almost like a WordPress type of interface, which is a CMS or content management system that allows you to go in and make changes to your chapter web page while still drawing pieces of information from BNI Connect. So let me show you what I mean by that. So the way to find your chapter website, by the way, is to go and click the regional website button in the upper right-hand corner if you're not sure what it is. There's hundreds of regional websites because BNI is all over the world. So the easiest way to find yours is to log into BNI Connect and click regional website. Now I'm a member here in Rhode Island, so I can get to my regional website by clicking that, and that is bniri.com. Again, that's where I am a member here. This is our website. We've customized it a little bit, and you can see that it has our chapter map on it and things like that. Now, this is our regional website. Every chapter also has their own page. So if I wanted to see my chapter's website, I would go to Find a Chapter, and the name of my chapter is Wakefield. And if I click on BNI Wakefield, this has some information about my chapter, and then I can also visit the chapter website. Of course, people can also go directly to bniri.com/Wakefield if they wanted to get to my site directly. Now, this website is pretty much, for the most part, out of the box. Our chapter, I know enough about web design to be dangerous, but I'm not a webmaster, by trade. So our website is, again, just fairly out of the box. You can see it has a lot of information that's automatically updated from BNI Connect. So you can see on the left-hand side, this column has all of the pertinent information about our chapter. It has our meeting day and our meeting location and a link to go and visit the chapter. If somebody clicks on it, they can RSVP for a meeting. It has our leadership team and their contact information. It also has our director consultant information there as well. In the middle, it has our thank you for closed business, which is automatically pulled from the previous 12 months of closed POMS reports. So right now it's reporting through June 30th. And on August 1st, it will then roll to the next 12 months and include all the revenue from July. We added a Facebook link so that you can get to our Facebook page, but down below we also have our chapter speakers. Those are all listed there as well for the next month worth of speakers. If I click on Meet Our Members, we'll see our list of members, and every member has their profile. So if I click on myself, for example, here's my profile. So every member has their own unique profile link. There's also a BNI news feed if you choose to activate a news feed and a news page. And this is essentially a chapter website. As I said, this is pretty much a default out of the box. Very, very few changes have been made on this one. However, there is a great possibility of things that you can do with these sites and still stay within the realm of this framework. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that we think it's a good idea to use these chapter websites. There have been chapters over the years, and I'm sure there's still chapters out there that have gone and registered for their own domain name and gone ahead and just created their own new site out of, from scratch. Now, the reason why we think using the BNI Connect sites is better is that it does have all this information in it. We find that when you go and create your own website, which usually what happens is the web designer in the chapter says, oh yeah, I'll just do this as a freebie for the chapter, then everybody can see how my work is, et cetera, et cetera. It falls out of date very, very quickly because as members join the chapter, as members leave the chapter, now this web designer has to go in and manually update all that information, and he has to chase the members down for their profiles and get them uploaded, and now they have to have different usernames and passwords. And when they're done through BNI Connect, all of that part of it is managed automatically. So the roster is always up to date, the leadership team is always up to date, the chapter location is always up to date. So all you really need to worry about at this point when you're using a BNI Connect site is the actual creative content. Okay, but as I said, there's some sites out there that have some pretty impressive creative content. So let's take a look. One of those chapters is the Bni Rugby Chapter, and this is a chapter over in the UK. They're in the Warwickshire region, so it's warwickshire.co.uk rugby. So let's take a look at this chapter's website. And you can see what they've done is they've gone for a nice long page with nice graphics and videos embedded in it. On the left-hand side, they have all their social media links. Same thing up in the upper right-hand corner. Those have been added in, but you see it has the same common elements. It has their chapter members. It has a gallery. It has all their leadership team down the left-hand side. And if we scroll down this page, we'll see more and more information, tons of links and places to go, a nice BNI graphic, a video, a link so that they can register to attend a meeting, some quotes from their members, a nice video from Dr. Meisner. They put their 12-month total in humongous font here so everybody can see it. Another way to reserve your place at the meeting, and they put in a map that leads to their chapter. They also have customized these other pages. They have their chapter member pages. They put a nice header on this page so it stays consistent with their home page. There's also the ability to enable a chapter gallery so that you can take a look through some pictures such as some member presentations, and they have some pictures up here of members giving presentations. And then there's also the chapter news feed, which allows you to do a blog style, and you actually don't even have to log into the website editor to do that part of it. All right, so that's one example. Let me show you one more example. There is the Golden Ideas chapter, and they're in San Francisco. So let's take a look at the BNI San Francisco Golden Ideas chapter site. And once again, you can see the common elements. So on the left-hand side, we have our chapter leadership team, chapter location and everything. If we scroll all the way to the bottom, we have they put in a chapter map as well as a message from the current president. You can click. They change that out, obviously, whenever there's a new president in place. There's a couple of links to visit the chapter. There's a link here, a link on the right-hand side. They put in, these are the types of people we're looking for right now. And when we go to their chapter members page, they've done some advanced stuff here, well above and beyond what can just be done through the straightforward editor. It does allow you access to put in code as well. And what they did was they created a way to segregate their chapter into power teams. so that you can choose specific businesses, and it will show you who are the members that are associated with that particular contact sphere or power team. And again, that was all custom coded stuff that was developed by them and input into their chapter site. All right, so that's the basics of the chapter site, what you can do with it. Now let's take a look at how can we go in and make these changes and make these edits, and what are the tools that we have at our disposal to work with this site. So the way to get to all of that stuff is to go in to BNI Connect. As I said, BNI Connect has within it what's called a CMS Editor, and CMS stands for Content Management System. That's essentially what website building tools such as WordPress are. They are content management systems. So what we're going to do is log into BNI Connect. You do have to be assigned as a webmaster, or you need to be a director consultant or on the leadership team of the chapter, president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. Those are the people that by default have access to go in and edit the site. The way you'll know if you have access or not is that what you should see is a thing that says tools up here at the top. That is where the content management system is hiding. So go to tools, CMS, and then chapter websites. Tools, CMS, chapter websites. Now once we get into the chapter websites, you'll see all of the sites that you have access to. Now by default, you are only going to have access to your own chapter website. I happen to be an admin, so I can see all of the websites here in my Antarctica region. But normally when you log in, you'll just see, for example, the one website for your own chapter. This one happens to be the Bni chapter up there in the Shiver region of Antarctica. So we're going to go in and let's edit that particular site. So we can see what the URL is over here. We can see it's currently anyway, it's antarcticreferrals.com/shiver-region-bni-//burr. And the reason it's named that way is because it's automatically generated. So when a chapter is launched or we build the regional website, it automatically generates all of these chapter sites. That can be changed though later. So let's go ahead and click on under options. We have this little piece of paper with a pencil. Let's click on that. That's the edit. And this brings us into the content manager for this particular chapter site. And you'll see we have a couple of things here. We have a couple of tabs along the top. Those are the different management areas for the website. And then here on the first page, we can see our site layout. So the different things that we can do on the site here, we have our different pages. As I said, we have our pages tab, we have our library tab, and we have our site information tab. So the pages tab has all of the different, pages that are on the site. Down at the bottom, you'll see it says that there's a preview URL and a live URL. Just so you guys know what that means, when you're working on your website, you're actually working on a copy of the website. That copy is the preview site, and you are the only one that can see that preview site. So if there's people that happen to be on your website at the time, they're viewing what's called the live URL. So that's the one that the rest of the world sees. So if I click that live URL, this is what the world sees when they log in and they look at the Bni Burr chapter site. And again, this is a default, completely out of the box website. However, when you're editing it, you're editing this actual copy, the one that goes to BNI, CMS, preview sites, et cetera, et cetera. So as you start to make changes to it, you'll notice that this preview site is changed, but this main site is not, even though they look identical right now. Once you've made all your changes, the way to update what everybody else sees is to do what's called publishing the site. And we do that by just simply clicking this publish button there. The screen will flash for a couple of seconds and it will basically take all of the information in the preview site, copy it, and overwrite the live site. By the way, there is no back button. There's no magic undo there. So be sure that you've checked and looked at and double-checked all your changes before you publish. But you'll see here that we have these different pages, and those correspond to the different pages of the site. So, for example, we have the home page, that's this home page. We have the chapter members, that's our chapter members page here. Right, and then under chapter members, you see we have some sub pages. So we have member details. So if I click on a member, this is the member details. Chapter details, that's if I go and click on the chapter name here, this is the chapter details. And then send message, let me go back. If I click on the send message option, which I don't have enabled on this particular profile, but let me go to Adam Sandler. So send message, this allows somebody to send a message to that member. This is the send message page. There's also a gallery and a news page, but you'll notice that there's no gallery page here on the public site. However, there is a news page. The news page is a special function that allows you to edit just this one page through the regular section so different members can contribute. I'm not going to get into that today, but if you have questions about it, just shoot me a message, and if we have time, we can take a look at it after the main session. But as I said, there is no gallery page, and that's because if we go back here, let's go back to this, you'll notice that under gallery, we have edit name, edit meta tags, edit comment, edit content, and then we have show. Whereas news, we have hide. So there's these two pages here. We can choose to either show them or hide them. Now, the reason why the gallery page is hidden by default is because it's meant for, if you remember the Bni Rugby Chapter, that's where they put, pictures of their chapter and pictures of their people giving presentations and things like that. Because there's really nothing in there until you start uploading stuff, they turn that off by default. But we can turn it on by clicking show. Says, are you sure you want to show this page? And yes. And once we show that page, if I go back to the preview URL, now you'll see there is a gallery page. Of course, it is empty because we haven't done anything yet. But the other thing you'll notice is that there's now a new tab up here for gallery, which allows us to then edit that gallery page. So let's take a look at these tabs along the top before we get back down into the different pages. We have pages, library, site information, and gallery. So library. The library page is where you need to put all of the pictures and things that you're going to be using on your site. So in order to have a picture on the website, you need to get that picture up onto the BNI Connect servers. That will make it load the fastest by having it directly in the BNI Connect servers, but that picture does need to be stored somewhere on the internet. Now, to get it to the BNI Connect servers, it's really easy to do. You just need to upload it from your computer into BNI Connect, and we do that by clicking the upload button. And from here, you can just go find that picture on your computer by clicking on the magnifying glass. And let's see what we got here. Let me go to grab some stuff. And let's say I want this BNI Connect logo, and I want this, get connected, stay connected. And I'm also going to grab this BNI Connect online. I'm going to grab the visitor one. You can upload up to 3 files at a time. So I just held down the control button, chose 3 files. And I'm going to click upload. And now you can see these 3 pictures are in the library. Now the pictures are limited to 5 megabytes per piece, per item. But you can have an unlimited number of images in your library. So, please don't upload millions and millions of pictures, but the fact is that, we're not really limiting the number of pictures you have, but it is limited to 5 megabytes a piece. Now you can do the same thing if you wanted to, let's say, share documents from the site. You could upload documents. Nobody really uses Flash anymore, but the ability is there to upload Flash files. The next tab up at the top is the Site Information tab. Now, this tab is, you're not really going to be doing much on this tab. However, one very important thing is on this tab, and that is the chapter folder name. So as I said, these sites are generated by default, so when it makes the website link, the URL, it auto-generates that by taking the name of the region and then the name of the chapter, and then it puts in a bunch of dashes where spaces or illegal characters would be. So when it generated this name, it generated it as shiver-region-bni--- Well, that's a mouthful. You never want to be going to your, hey, yeah, just check out our chapter site. It's, antarcticreferrals.com/shiver-region. Yeah, it's just too long. So we can rename the folder name and make it a little bit shorter. So we can just call it, BNI BRR. So now it would just be antarcticreferrals.com/BRR. The other thing you can do if you want to is put analytics code. So if you're using something like Google Analytics, for example, you can put your Google Analytics code in there and be able to track the people that are going to your site and see what they're clicking on and how long they're staying on your site, et cetera, et cetera. If you've made any changes, go ahead and click the Update button. You'll notice here that the live URL and preview URL has changed. In order to enforce those changes, be sure to click the Publish button. All right, this new tab that popped up, this Gallery tab, let's take a look at that real quick. Now the Gallery, as I said, that page of the site is a special page meant for displaying, photo albums, essentially, of pictures. And the way we do this is by adding albums, and you can add multiple albums. So let's just add an album here, first album, and pictures. Click Submit, and just like we're uploading pictures into our chapter library for use on the website, we can upload pictures into the album. So I can go in and click on Manage Photos. I can add a photo into this album. Just need to go and find a photo. And we can call this Blue Screen. Click Upload. And now I have a photo up in this gallery. So if I go back, I'm going to once again publish the page, go to the live site. We should now have a gallery with a first album in it. And we have our fake blue screen. All right, so that's the different tabs. Now let's go in and let's actually edit a page. There are a couple of different things here. We have edit name, edit meta tags, and edit content. So on most of these pages, you can change the name of the page if you want to. So for example, if I didn't want this to be home, I wanted this to be start page, I could do that and click submit. And you'll notice that instead of it saying home, it now says start page. Right, so you can rename any of those pages if you'd like to. Meta tags is, it's a whole art form unto itself. Basically, this is what's going to help you with a lot of the search results by making sure you have good, descriptions, keywords, and meta tags in there. I've been told I am not an SEO person, so, but I have been told that content is just as important nowadays. So you want to have a good mix of good meta tags and good content on the site as well. And then finally we have edit content, and this is really the meat and potatoes, the going in and editing the layout and the design and the pictures and the words that are on your screen. So you'll notice that your editing window is really going to be this center part of the page itself. The stuff that's on the left you can't really edit. The stuff on the top you can't edit. Those are all branded and in place. The stuff on the bottom, the chapter speakers, that will be automatically populated if your secretary-treasurer is adding speakers to the rotation. It's really just this stuff in the middle of the page that you're going to be able to go in and configure. And you kind of have free reign over all of this stuff here, so you can overwrite it, you can put new words in. Most of this is really very straightforward. It's just like using, Microsoft Word for the most part, with a couple of very special functions. But it's just, you can grab things, you can make things bold, you can make it italic. I can change the size of the font, I can change the colors, I can highlight. Let's say I want my thank you for closed business to be bigger. And in red. All this stuff is fairly straightforward word processing level things, but a list, bulleted list. I could put another bulleted list in there. Right, so all that stuff is fairly straightforward. The unique things about a website are going to be right here. And we can put in tables, we can put in line dividers, but the thing that most people are going to want to do is to either replace images or input new images. So let's say I do want to put an image in here. What I would do is click this image icon or this picture icon here. And this is where the library comes in important. I need to go and browse the library or browse the server to find the picture that I would like to put in. So let's say I want this BNI Get Connected, Stay Connected logo. I can grab that. Now I can see here in the preview that that's going to be rather large. So I probably want to go in and shrink it down a little bit, maybe to 300 pixels. I can click OK. And now we have that picture in there. And of course you can add more pictures, so I can add another picture if I want to. I can go in and just browse and add the visitor icon. And now I have the two pictures in there. The other common thing that you're going to want to do is the hyperlink thing. So in other words, if I say go visit the site for BNI HQ. And I want it so that when they click on BNI HQ, it brings them to www.bni.com. So if I highlight it and click this link button, the one that looks like a little chain link, I can just type in the URL or copy and paste it from somewhere. And now when they click that, it will bring them to BNI HQ. Now, in order to do some more of the advanced things, such as, if you wanted to add in, the Facebook widget or something like that, or you're custom designing some stuff because you are a web programmer and you want to put that in there, you can do those types of things as well. The way to do that is to click this source button up at the top. When I click the source, you will notice that it has all the actual HTML code, where if you're much more comfortable, you're welcome to edit that directly. I do just want to say, if you are using another web design program, just be very careful. Not all web programs are created equal, and some insert extra code and things like that. So just be careful. We have had some people in the past, either freeze up or break their sites by putting incompatible code in there, and we have to go in and kind of wipe everything out and start it back up again. But that being said, this would be the way to do it if you want to do something like embed a video into your site. All right, when you're all satisfied that everything is good to go, go ahead and click Save. It'll give you a preview. And then I can go and see what my gorgeous new site looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and click the live URL and, uh-oh, where'd all my changes go? Well, I never published it. Let me go back and publish it real quick. I can see all the changes on the preview site, but this is where I told you it's going to be out of sync with the main site. So once I click publish though, now if I go to the live site, or if anybody in the world goes to antarcticreferrals.com/BRR, we can then see our gorgeous new site. And really, that's the gist of it. That's the that's the basics of going in and editing and updating your chapter site. All right, so we are at the bottom of the hour. What I'd like to do now is to open this up to any questions. If there's anybody that does need to take off right away, thank you so much for being here. By the way, this is being recorded. You'll be able to find it up on our support site, which you can get to by clicking this question mark in the upper right-hand corner. You'll also be able to find it on youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. All right, we do have a quick, just I guess kind of more of a comment from Cameron. It says, knowing that you can revert the site to a vanilla condition is good for webmasters to know. So yes, we can either by just, one thing that some people do as well is they'll make a copy of the source code for the start page, and that way they can just copy and paste in and revert from a text-based backup as well. So does that make sense, Cameron? All right, excellent. Bob asks, can we add pages to the site? Unfortunately, we are limited to just the pages that you have here for the chapter sites. That being said, some people have done things like really repurpose some of the pages. For example, the gallery page can be turned into more of like a blog style page. Like even if you don't put any pictures up there, essentially you could, really you could rename this gallery page to, whatever, and then be able to go in and, edit that page. So I can go in and edit the content of this page now and essentially almost have another page. Now notice here that's broken into two editors, and that's because what we're really doing is we're editing the header and editing the footer. Right? So if I go and save this, we have the header, we have the footer with the album in between. Okay? Does that make sense, Bob? Awesome. Cameron says, BNI Connect takes responsibility for keeping itself up, but individual webmasters cannot access previous contents or versions. Is that correct? There's no historical access. You are 100% correct. We do not keep versioning or history or anything like that. If you would like to make a copy of the source code, as you're making edits and changes, that's up to you. That's up to your, whatever you'd like to do. I mean, of course, BNI backs up its system and, does things that way, but we don't make those backups publicly available for anybody. There's no way for you to, utilize that in order to do a restore or anything like that. Does that make sense, Cameron? Does that help? Awesome. All right, any other questions? While you're thinking of any other questions, just a reminder, this is part of a series of webinars that we do on a monthly basis. If you'd like to check out the whole series, click on this question mark in the upper right-hand corner. Go to live and recorded webinars. I will have this recording up soon. I am heading on vacation next week, so I probably won't have it up there until I return, but this is where they'll be. The June webinar is very similar, just slightly different questions. And the upcoming webinars, if I click on this, this is all of the upcoming webinars. We are about halfway through the series, but when I return on Monday, July 25th, we're going to have a member tools and reports. On Tuesday, July 26th, we're going to be inviting and registering visitors. Then the rest of the week, we're going to go through some of the leadership team functionality, tools and reports, goals for leadership teams, and online renewals. So a good referral for me is to please let your chapters know about these webinars. Encourage, if anybody has any questions about anything BNI Connect, to please jump on the webinars or shoot us an email, support@bniconnect.com, and we're always happy to help answer questions. All right, on that note, I don't see any additional questions, so I'm going to say on this Friday afternoon, everybody please enjoy your weekends, and I look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. Happy connecting.